America, and a very warm welcome to you. Now, I am giving you a warm welcome because winter is for sweet treats, and chocolate is in order for today's Afternoon Express Masterclass with me, Balisa Dembe. Now, we're creating a scrumptious chocolate cake with master chocolatier, Dimo, Simatos, and we also have Chef Dumi, who will be showing us how to make a classic choc chip cookies, irresistible chocolate truffles, and moist chocolate cupcakes. Yummy! Now, every single time I see that chef's hat, I know nothing but sweetness in the loft. How are you, Dimo?
Very well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm so ready for it. I mean, Dumi, nothing but chocolate today.
You know, miss, this is my chocolate heaven. Whenever I hear chocolate, I'm ready.
Pretty much. Now, have you always wished that you could bake the most amazing chocolate cake? A cake that is moist and full of chocolatey perfection. Well, sit tight, Mzansi, because today is your lucky day. We have Lindt's master's chocolatier, Dimo Simatos, in the loft, and he is going to be teaching us the A to Z of chocolate cake making. But wait, there is so much more. Stay tuned, because we're also giving away not just one, but two 1,000 Rand Lindt Excellence hampers for two of our lucky viewers. Now, Dimo, we're going to give our viewers all the info on that as the show goes. But you promised us chocolate cake, and chocolate cake we are going to deliver. So what do we need?
Okay, so let's go through the ingredients.
Okay.
We've got, you'll notice, a whole bunch of dry ingredients. So we've got cake flour, sugar, a bit of cocoa powder, and then a bit of a combination of baking powder, bicarb, and a little bit of coffee.
Delicious. And on this side, I see we also have a wet station.
Right. So the wet station, the wet ingredients are all put together. So we've got water, oil, and there's a bit of a strange concoction here of vanilla and vinegar.
Okay.
So we can actually pop all the wet ingredients into the saucepan.
So I've already gone in with my water.
And pop in the oil.
Lovely oil. So today we're looking for a nice oily cake.
Correct. So I'm sure you've noticed by now there's no butter, there's no eggs involved. So
There's no milk?
No milk. So it's leaning towards dairy-free.
Okay.
I love that. Sounding good. So this wet mixture, we have to pop it on the heat, right?
Correct. So we've got to bring that to the boil.
Okay.
And once it's nice and hot, we're going to break up our chocolate and pop it in there.
All right.
Melt it all down.
So when you say you bring it to a boil, so you do want to have those bubbles breaking the surface?
Correct. So we need to get it nice and hot.
Okay, perfect. Awesome stuff.
Dumi, can you just talk us through then the dry?
Well then, Balisa, like Chef said, we've got some baking, we've got some flour, some sugar, some cocoa powder, and baking soda, baking powder, and some coffee.
A bit of coffee. So
A bit of
coffee. Just, it always brings out the chocolate flavor.
I love that. I love that because recently we did a coffee and chocolate tasting, Balisa, and it made absolute sense. So I do understand why you might have it in the actual batter as well.
Right, so what we can do right now is get all our dry ingredients into the bowl. So you can pop your flour in there, and that's just normal cake flour.
Everything's already been sifted.
Correct. So we sieve through, just make sure that it's nice and clean.
Perfect.
Your cocoa powder, and then you're going to use your whisk just to make sure that everything's blended in really well.
And then just to make sure I understand as well, Chef, the one thing you've mentioned before when we were making another cake, you did say that doing this with the sifting, you've sifted it before, but also whisking it also aerates the mixture as well, right?
That's correct. So it'll just lighten everything up and make sure that any uneven, especially the baking powder, bicarb, you want to disperse that nice and evenly.
Okay, perfect.
Right. Now, Chef, you did promise us a whole lot of moisture within this cake, something that's scrumptious, but something that also never fails. Is that what is the trick to everything that we're doing today? The fact that we're using the oil, we have to bring it to a boil, and also everything that's happening on the cake station, on the dry ingredient station, making sure that it's light, airy, and fluffy.
Correct. So you want to make sure that you know, the hot liquid will react with baking powder, the bicarb, and make sure that it gives a bit of lift in the chocolate cake.
But Chef, then what time do we put in our delicious chocolate? Because I know that you wanted us to also try mix in the chocolates within the hot ingredients.
Right.
Do we do that when it's off the pot?
Correct. So break it up in the actual packaging, which is a nice little trick. You don't have to totally open it up and have any wastage.
Okay.
Then by the one side of the foil, just kind of tear it open and then drop all the chocolate into that warm liquid.
Talk about decadence.
We might have to pop it back onto the stove and just have a look and see if it's warm enough, but
Chef, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to take a bit of a bite of this chocolate because you know me and my Lindt chocolate. I love me some Lindt.
Me too, Dumi. Cheers on that side. And
Cheers,
essentially, this is the sea salt flavor, but Lindt Excellence comes in the finest dark chocolate. I mean, it delivers a smooth and delicate creamy dark chocolate taste, but the aftertaste is very sweet. And I think that that's due to the quality ingredients that is all packed up in this. It's just nothing but the best.
And the nice thing about the Excellence range is you can use any flavor of choice. So the orange intense, you can even opt for a high cocoa content from a 70 to 85 if you want a bit more of a pronounced kind of chocolatey flavor.
Okay.
In that case, you know, my suggestion would be leaving out the cocoa powder in the recipe if you're going to go opt for high cocoa content.
Wow, that's actually very, very delicious, very, very tasty. And if this is any indication of how this cake is going to taste, we are in for a treat indeed. I mean, as much as it is a sea salt flavor, it doesn't fight with the savory of the salt. Does not fight with the sweetness of the chocolate. It actually comes together quite perfectly, just as this hot mixture.
So the hot liquid, all into your dry at once.
All at once.
All at once.
But obviously, Chef, if someone is more experienced on their chocolate palette, they are able to then use the dark chocolate specifically, like the 85%.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just going to give you, obviously, a darker batter, a more pronounced chocolatey flavor. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we also don't have any salt in this recipe.
Yeah.
Because on this particular one, using the touch of sea salt, we've got it in our chocolate. That's just going to blend in. So with a couple of whisking motions, you're going to get this nice, smooth, chocolatey batter. Tap out your whisk, swap over to your spatula.
Okay.
Now we've got to pour it into our bundt cake tin.
Okay.
Right? You've got to make sure you don't miss the center. I don't know if you noticed, but there's a little hole in the center.
Yeah, there's a little hole. Oh my goodness, hectic.
So as you're pouring, just move around really gently and just get most of the mixture out first before you start scooping.
Beautiful. South Africa, please just head over to afternoonexpress.co.za if you want to get the full ingredients list and recipe to make this beautiful, moist, Lindt-inspired chocolate cake. It's looking really, really good in the loft, tasting even better. I definitely want to dive into more chocolate as the show continues. Thank you so much, Dimo. Now, you could win one of two 1,000 Rand hampers of Lindt Excellence delicious range of chocolates. To enter, tell us which flavor of Lindt Excellence 70% cocoa, 85% cocoa orange, mint, or sea salt you would love to try. T's and C's can be found on afternoonexpress.co.za. Now on social media, we want to empower you with all the tools to create chocolatey goodness in your own home. So we're calling on all the chocolate lovers. Today, the show is for you. What unconventional thing would you put within your chocolate? I mean, how can you finesse chocolate in your very own kitchen to make it absolutely delicious? We want something outrageous, extraordinary, maybe a little bit weird, but make sure you use that hashtag Afternoon Express in all of your comments. Now, Dumi, you did promise a whole lot of chocolate.
Yes, Palisa, it's all chocolate today. And after this, we're going to be getting deep into the chocolate sphere, and we'll be making some Choc chip cookies.
Very much looking forward to that. But we also have one of my favorite games coming up where Dumi challenges one of our very own on social media. Her name is Zoe in our very next 5-second game. welcome back to Afternoon Express, where we're about to put the ladies through their paces. Now, I don't know about you guys, but it is cold here today, and we're so thankful to have our hot coffees and Omar rusks on standby. And you know that dipping in Omar is all about that family time. So I got my work family around the table for a fun game of 5 seconds. Our two opponents in the hot seats are our queen in the kitchen, Chef Dumi. I love that you're such a good sport, and we also have the queen on the Afternoon Express social media, the lovely Zoe Human. Now, ladies, the rules are so easy. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and you only have 5 seconds to answer. The winner takes home the rusks, and the theme today is all things home. You ladies ready?
Okay. Yes, 100%.
Zoe, the very first one's for you, girl.
Okay.
She seems nervous, guys. I don't know.
I'm not nervous. I was born ready. It's dipping time, so she about to get dunked.
Okay, I love that. And that's the competitive spirit I'm talking about. Zoe, girlfriend, you've got 5 seconds. Please, may you name me 3 things you can find in the kitchen.
A spatula, pan, a fridge.
Well done!
Okay. Thank you. We're ready.
Get it, Zoe. She got that in like 2 seconds. Congratulations. Dumi, let's see if you can keep it as hot, girl. Please, may you name me 3 rooms in a house.
Bedroom, kitchen, lounge.
Well done. It seems as if these home questions are super simple. Again, both ladies, 1 point each on the scoreboard, but we still have 4 more rounds to go. So let's see. Zoe, the next one's for you. Please, may you name me 3 things you can do at home.
Sleep, eat, and watch TV.
3. Well done. Sleep, eat, watch TV. Please don't do it in that order. Maybe exercising, Yana, but absolutely, you get the points. Dumi, the next one's for you, girlfriend. Please, may you name me 3 household chores you don't like.
Cleaning the windows, washing the dishes, and mopping the floors.
Absolutely. It's quite interesting. Dumi is the cook, but she hates the cleaning. I don't know. Is there a correlation?
No, 100%. In my house, it's the same thing. If my mom is making food, then I have to do the dishes. If I'm making food, I will not do the dishes.
Okay, fair, it seems like. And on that note, both ladies, you have 2 points each.
Okay, cool.
Zoe, girl, please, can you just name me 3 features of your dream home?
A fountain, a swimming pool, a sauna.
Yeah! A queen who knows luxury.
Levels.
A queen who knows
Levels.
things. All about the labels. Now, Dumi, can you please name me 3 places in the world that you would love to go?
Jamaica, Italy, and Madagascar.
Yeah, well, if you try, you might just slip up. If you try to be funny, you might just slip up. But congratulations. We clearly know Dumi wants to go to Jamaica, but those other 2, you still got it in time, so congratulations to you. I don't know. It seems as if both ladies are going to be having to half these Omar rusks. Okay, Zoe, the next one's for you, girl. Can you please name me 3 rules in your home?
Don't bring anyone into the house. Don't let anyone sleep over in the house. Do the dishes when you eat.
Okay. Wait. We have to take that up to the adjudicators, because for me, 1 and 2 is awfully similar. If no one's allowed in your house, it's obvious that they can't sleep over. You know what I'm saying? So upstairs just said it does not count. Dumi, please, may you name me 3 things you miss about your childhood home.
The smell of baking scones, the sound of my mom's music, and my grand's company.
She's just got it. You see, that's the thing. Sometimes also if you speak in full sentences, your 5 seconds might run out, but congratulations. That granny just made it in time.
No.
And just like that, Dumi is walking away slowly but surely as the leader in this competition. So Zoe, please may you name me 3 excuses to avoid doing the dishes. You keep talking about dishes.
I'm sick, I've just finished work, and I need to study.
1.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sick, I need to work, I need to study. I love that, got it, good. Dumi, the last one, if you don't get this in 5 seconds, then it's a tie. But if you do get it in 5 seconds, then you are 1 point ahead of Zoe, and you walk away with the box of Omar rusks. Dumi, you've got 5 seconds on the clock. Please, may you name me 3 reasons to skip work and stay home.
It's cold, my car's not working, and I need to take my child to the doctor.
The truth comes out. The truth comes out, South Africa. And now we know sometimes if Dumi does not make it into the loft, what is wrong with her?
I'm sending this clip.
You're sending this clip to the big bosses. But just like that, snitch or no snitch, Dumi walks away as the winner of these incredible Omar Rusk. Thank you so much, Zoe.
Oh, always a pleasure, guys. Sorry, Mom. I thought I'd do better.
Well, cheers to that. Well, there's no place like home. But if you'd like to win a 1,000 Rand in cash or an Omar Rusk's hamper, tell us where in the world you would love to dip an Omar whilst on holiday. Let us know your dream location on the competition post on the Afternoon Express Facebook or Twitter page and use the hashtag dipping time in your answers. For all the T's and C's, you can visit afternoonexpress.co.za. Congratulations to me.
Anytime is dipping time when it's with the ones you love.
Wawina wena kel. So clearly winning is your thing.
It's my thing, Balisa. It's in my streak. It's in my blood.
Speaking of which, mawufuna ukuwina nawe at home, listen up carefully. If you eat, sleep and dream of baking, the new season of the SAFTA Award-nominated show on SABC, the Tastemaster SA, can be your ticket to stardom. Now, if you want to become the next South African baking influencer and you know you've got what it takes, then enter now. To help you along, we have a delectable choc chip cookie recipe that we think is absolutely to die for.
So you've got some dry ingredients on your side that you're going to sift together for us. You've got some flour, some baking powder, baking soda. You're going to mix all those together and sift it nicely. And then once you're done, chop up the chocolate for us because it's not a choc chip cookie without the chocolates. And then I, on my side, have the wet ingredients, which has to be our egg. I'm going to have 1 egg yolk from here. We've got some caster sugar, some brown sugar. We've got some oil and some vanilla essence and some additional choc chips. So the reason why we've got some brown sugar and some caster sugar is because we want the caramelization of the choc chip. So you'll see the color is nice and golden brown. That's basically why we add that additional brown sugar for that caramelization. So to start it off, Bali, I'm going to go in with my 1 egg and then break apart our egg and get just the egg yolk from this. What this does is that it helps enrich your batter and give you that nice, delectable taste that we're going for with a choc chip cookie.
Nice.
I'm going to whisk these together and then that'll be the first step of our mixture. And you know, whenever you're working with sugar and eggs, we always say to make sure that you whisk it as soon as possible because you don't want the sugar to burn the egg. And by burn, we mean it's going to be very grainy and have granules. So as soon as you start popping your sugar into the mixture, into your egg, then start whisking as soon as possible. And to help this along, I'm also then just going to add some of our oil that goes into the mixture. We just made a chocolate cake which had oil. We're adding some oil into this as well to give it that enrichment, you know?
Perfect. And here, Dumi, I'm about to add some baking powder. Now, what is baking without baking powder? And you said just a teaspoon. Is that enough?
Yeah, that's fine. You're going to sift it in, and it just gives it a little bit of that crunch that we want in our cookies.
So with the baking powder, I'm also going to add some salt in here, just a pinch of salt, and then I'm going to sift that in together. So all of my dry ingredients are already in this bowl. I've got my 2 flours in here, I've got my baking powder, and I have got my salt, and then I just mix this up for you, Dumi.
Perfect, Maggie. You can mix it all up, and then we're going to pop in those dry ingredients that you've whisked nicely for us into this wet batter that we've got over here. You can actually pop it in so long, and then what I'm going to do is we're going to then start forming our batter. As you can see, we've not added the choc chips yet. Whenever you're baking, if you're adding stuff like choc chips in there, because you don't want it to sink to the bottom, as you can see here, the choc chips are still showing on the top. The reason we put the choc chips at the end and the chocolate that you're going to chop up for us now is we want it to be able to hold its place in the cookie itself, at the top, in the center, at the bottom. So that's why we're not adding it at the beginning, because we want to just fold it in nicely and make sure that it gets equally distributed through the batter that we're making over here.
Love it. Okay, so you know what? What I also love here is that we're using actual chocolate, real chocolate.
Correct.
For these choc chip cookies. We didn't decide to skimp out on this recipe. We decided to have nothing but the best in quality. But Dumi, as this is an opportunity for all people that are wanting to get down with being the SA Baking Influencer of 2021, it's all about Tastemaster SA.
Yes, Bella.
So, you must have so many memories when it comes to the Tastemaster SA, highs, lows, just the whole tumultuous experience of it. But when it comes to any baking challenges that you might have had, how were you able to make sure you were a step above the rest?
Well, Balasa, we didn't have that many of them, but the few that we did have, what I had to do was I needed to research, because I'm not much of a baker. I had to ask the people that I know who are experienced in that field to help me along, because it's very important to also do your research. You know, what they tasked us with was constantly coming up with recipes. And sometimes you think you know until you ask a couple of people, which is very important. It's okay to ask, because the more people you ask, the more info you get, and the more of a competitor you can be, more you've got to offer than just, I think I know everything, I'm not going to ask anyone. So I think it is best when you're going into this, do as much research as you can, speak to the people that know, and then just have fun. But Palisa, what you've got there is that batter. We can't roll it just yet. It needs to chill so that it's easier to handle and so that it doesn't spread. So I've got some that I've already chilled, and I've started rolling that out. And that basically goes into the oven to bake at 180, and that's it.
The Tastemaster SA is back, and this time around, it's the baking edition. It promises to be yet another sensational series of good food and incredible prizes, not to be missed for the ultimate winner. The previous season's winner, Chef Dumi, recently walked away with the Lux Restaurant Award for Rising Star. Her star is indeed shining bright, and you could be next. So if you are a passionate baker and want to be the next South African baking influencer, just go on to www.tastemaster.co.za to enter now. But here are more details on how to enter.
If you eat, sleep and dream of baking, enter the Tastemaster SA's new season starting in September on SABC2. Grow your career in TV and as a baking influencer, and stand to win 20,000 rands cash plus 50,000 rands worth of premium kitchen products. To enter, share a video of you baking a wonder you've created with tried and trusted Royal Baking Powder. Upload your video and complete your application on the tastemaster.co.za website. Entries close Sunday 25th July. T's and C's apply.
Now, I had to welcome back Dimo, because you know what? Whether it's the hair or the hat, you know what they say, Dimo, the bigger the hair, the bigger the hat, the closer to heaven. And Dumi, that's exactly where you're transporting us to in the next recipe.
Yes, definitely, Palisa. I think I've had enough moments with Mr. Chocolate Master Chocolatier himself. And so I think I've learned a few lessons. So we're going to be making some chocolate truffles, Pale.
Absolutely delicious. I mean, a heavenly treat, chocolate truffles.
Up my alley. Yeah.
Well, all of that coming up.
Our pharmacies are on the front line of healthcare. This is Pharmacy of the Week.
In Riebeekstad, we have a close-knit community with warm and friendly clients. The pharmacy is part of the community now for more than 30 years. Some of our clients are with us from the beginning. They raise their kids with us in the pharmacy, and also their kids and family is also now part of the pharmacy. It's an honor for me as a pharmacist and our pharmacy team to serve the community of Riebeekstad. COVID-19 was devastating for our community. Lots of businesses closed down and some of our clients lost their job and income. We are grateful for the amazing support that we got from our clients, and with the grace of God, we believe that we will get through this.
Pharmacy of the Week, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
Welcome back to the show. Now, chocolate truffles aren't just great for Valentine's Day, but for any day. And with a recipe that's as simple as ours, you will always have yourself wondering, why haven't we just been indulging in them more often? Now, I just get intimidated when it comes to chocolate truffles. That's why that question at the end is so important to me. Why have I not always been trying them? So you're going to show us how.
Yes, Balisa, thankfully, I've got the lessons from Mr. Chocolatier himself, and he told me a lot of steps and showed me how to do the thing. So you'll actually curate this and let me know if I'm doing the right thing, right?
All right.
Awesome stuff.
I'll be watching like a hawk.
Please. To start it off, Bali, I'm going to be heating up our pot here, and we're going to add some cream to that, because to start it off, in essence, the truffles are warmed up, a ganache, in essence, that's just set, right?
Right, that's correct. So can I add my cream?
You can add your cream, chef, and I think I'm going to add just a little bit more. So we went in with our cream into our pot here. I've got some milk chocolate, and I've also got some dark chocolate. So what we're going to do is, once our temperature on the cream has reached the correct temperature, we're going to add our our chocolate into there, our milk chocolate and our dark chocolate, and make sure it creates a nice little sauce.
Now, Chef, Udumi says that, you know, ordinarily when you are creating ganache, it's just, you know, the chocolate and the cream. But Dumi, you said we're adding vanilla essence and?
Vanilla essence and some icing sugar.
And some icing sugar. So, Chef, why then are we doing that? Why are we adding these different steps, these different ingredients to the specific chocolate truffle?
Yeah, so that's the nice thing about a base recipe. I mean, it always begins with a ratio of cream and chocolate, and then you can actually influence the flavors. So add a bit of vanilla, you can add a bit of, you know, chopped up nuts like you're doing now, either as a coating or I guess in the actual mixture.
Correct.
Again, influencing those flavors.
Correct.
The other day, I actually think I had my very first truffle. Very, very rich. It was a nice dark chocolate truffle. There was a bit of a powdery texture on the outside. So it's quite nice and interesting to find out, you know, the masterclass of how to put this together.
Correct, Balisa. So what that powder you're talking about was the cocoa powder, which is what I'm going to roll mine in. So those nuts that you're chopping up there are for Chef, and he's going to be rolling his truffles in some nuts. I'm going to be rolling mine in some cocoa powder. Now that our mixture has melted, I am now going to go in and add our icing sugar. I've actually already added my vanilla essence, Chef, so okay, you can also do the same. Add our icing sugar and then mix it all up. The other thing you want to make sure of is that you don't overmix. You just want the mixture to come together slightly. And then we're going to plop this into that dish that Chef has over there, because I have some mixture that I made a little earlier. And what you need to do with truffles specifically is you need to set it in the fridge so that they have that nice holding shape that they have, right?
Yeah, I see that you've got them in perfect little mini round balls, perfect mouth bite-sized pieces.
Yes, Balisa. So that's what we're about to do now. Normally, traditionally, people would have truffles that are round, but I think let's just change it up a little bit and get them into little squares. And to help you along, if at all you struggle with your cutting your truffles, you do have the option of also using cocoa powder. So what I'm going to do is you can put some cocoa powder here. That helps to make sure that the knife doesn't stick, all right? So I'm just going to do this, and then that helps me cut through our truffle. That's one technique. The other option is you can also just use a hot knife. That'd be like we say, like a hot knife through butter. That's another option where you can just cut through this. I've got my cloth because we don't want our chocolate to be wet.
Dumi, as you are cutting through and making those small rectangular square pieces, I can see the consistency of this ganache is absolutely perfect, very rich in colour, and that's essentially what we're looking for.
Yeah, nice shine to it. And it's good body.
Love that. And please may you just send the nuts over to Dumi, send some chocolate over to Dumi. Just the more fillings, the more toppings. I mean, why not? We are speaking about influencing flavors, and I can see, Dumi, as you are taking that apart, I can't wait to see that finished product.
Correct, Madam.
Now, even my not-so-sweet tooth is yearning for these babies, and I hope you are too. And if you are, just head over to afternoonexpress.co.za for the full recipe and ingredients list. We've made chocolate truffles, chocolate cake, and chocolate chip cookies. Now what's missing from that?
Tell me, Bali.
Well, that's right. Dumi, let me let you in on some tea. We've made a cake, so now what's a mini cake?
A mini cake?
A cupcake.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to be making a chocolate cupcake after these. welcome back to The Loft, where we are calling on all the chocolate lovers. Now, these super moist chocolate cupcakes pack tons of chocolate flavor in each cupcake wrapper. Made from simple, everyday ingredients, this easy cupcake recipe will be your new favorite. Dumi, we did promise them amakeke amancane.
Yes. Mini cakes, yes. So amakeke amancane is what we're going to be making now. And we've got the chocolate not just on top, but we've got the chocolate inside because we're going to be putting some choc chip in there. But to start it off, Bale, you need to melt some of your mama bake into some water. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my portion over here because I'm using mama bake inside of my batter. And then we're also using mama bake on our dressing on the top, on the frosting that we're putting on the actual cupcakes or the mini cakes.
So whilst you're cutting into that clover mama bake, I mean, this clover mama bake margarine is ideal for all baking recipes, and it is perfect for this one, the one that we're creating today.
Correct, Bale. So let me give you your bit of mama bake. And you could use it in any type of application. Yes, we're using it today in cupcakes and baking, but you could also use it in any other type of application.
And I'm going with some hot water, as Dumi has already provided me with my Clover Mama Bake margarine. And this is essentially to help and assist the Mama Bake immediately melting into the water. And this is to create that oily foundation.
And if you're wondering what else we're using for this recipe, we've got some sugar over here, I've got some flour, I have some choc chips, I've got some eggs as well. We have vanilla essence and some milk. So all of these ingredients are going to basically come together into this beautiful batter that we're going to be making. And then once these have been creamed together, in essence, I'm making the cupcake part of it and you're making the frosting part of our beautiful cupcakes today. And so you know we made the chocolate cake earlier where we made a hot mixture. It is in essence the same step where we've got the melted chocolate in there, and here we've got some hot water, we've got your melted mama bake, all of that coming together to give us a beautiful glaze that we're going to put on top of our cupcakes.
Lovely. And on your side, girl, you've already added your mama bake into the dry ingredients.
Correct. So what I did here is I had my mama bake that I've been creaming together with some of the sugar. And then into that, I've just added our eggs. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch from my spatula to my whisk to make sure that I break down all the ingredients that I've got in here. And then into that, I'm also just going to start adding our vanilla essence. Like we always say, Palisa, whenever you're baking and you've got eggs, it is important to have that vanilla essence there to just balance the flavors of whatever you're mixing in to your batter.
Beautiful. Okay, on my side, the mama bake has been completely incorporated quite well into my hot water. So now it's time for me to add my very own dry ingredients.
Correct. Right? Maybe what you should do, maybe mix your cocoa powder and your icing sugar together, because what we want to do is we want to make sure we don't have specks of different colors there. It could be cool for marbling, but in this instance, we're keeping it very chocolate.
I mean, I do like a good marble kind of color and texture within my cupcakes or the cakes or whatever, but here we're keeping it very, very traditional. So we're going to make sure that that is completely mixed in to the icing sugar.
All right, as you can see, Pali, I've also started here. What I've done is I've mixed in our wet ingredients because I needed to make sure that those get incorporated fully before I go into the dry ingredients part of our batter. And then now into our dry ingredients, we've got some sifted flour, which is always necessary when we're making these type of recipes because you want the air in it. We've got some baking soda, baking powder, and we've also got some salt. Like we always say, if you're baking, it is important to always make sure you balance those flavors of the sugar and the salt. It actually assists in the flavor of your cakes whenever you're baking. Nice. It's important to always add a little bit of salt to your baked goods. And then these dry goods go in here, and then I'm going to mix in our wet ingredients.
As you are doing that, Dumi, on my side, now that I've completely mixed in the cocoa into the icing sugar, it's time now to add that melted down Clover Mama Bake margarine into the dry mixture just to create that topping that you spoke of.
Correct.
Now, we also still have a whole bunch of hot water left over, Dumi. So in what ratio, in what kind of context do I need to be playing with this? Do I just add a little bit of my wet ingredients into this bowl before adding more hot water?
Correct.
Or can I?
Yes, so you can do wet, dry, until we get to the desired consistency for this glaze that we want.
Okay, so I'm going to start off with this dry.
So in essence, what you want is you want a mixture that's going to hold its shape. I'd say maybe add a little bit more of the water and then add the dry to that, and then just keep whisking in a little at a time, You don't want it too runny. We're not going for the ganache consistency. We're going for a frosting consistency.
Okay. Yes, definitely then for the frosting consistency, this is far too runny.
Correct.
So then I have to add more dry as we keep going. So it's just you have to keep playing and you have to use the eye.
That's it, Bali. Use your eye. So what's happened now is like we normally say as well, when you're baking, if you want to be adding any addition into your batter, you always try and add it at the end. And in most cases, you want to dust these with a bit of flour, but that's okay. I'm just going to go in with our choc chips here because, like we said, it's all about that chocolate today. So I'm going to fold these into our batter, and then we're going to start spooning our mixture beautifully into our cupcake molds. If you don't have cupcake molds, it's okay. You can actually just use some baking paper, cut it into beautiful squares, and put that into your muffin tin.
Because I keep having to play with the different textures, the different consistencies, as I do add more of the dry ingredients, this is my trick to not get dirty in the kitchen. I just tilt my bowl away from my body, and this is how I get away with not wearing an apron. Okay, here's the truth. This is what I do just to make sure that nothing comes on my beautiful outfit.
Because you are looking dapper today, so I'm glad you gave us that tip, because at least people now will make sure they don't get those dirty aprons because of that trick, Bali.
Love that. Now, I think I made a bit of a mistake, and I think that's because I added too much of the wet ingredients. I added too much hot water, I think, before adding the flour. Because yes, it is thickening up, which I love, which is what I'm looking for. But unfortunately, Dumi, I'm seeing lumps. So how can we then avoid the lumps?
Whisk. It's all in the wrist, Bali. Whisk away, because the one thing that happens, even if you're making your white sauces or you're making anything like that, the more you whisk, the more you get rid of those, like my mom likes to call them clakies, and I think that's what they are. So just whisk away, and I promise you, it's gonna eventually get to that point. Don't ever get rid of it, because those lumps are not something that's gonna be a problem anyway, because there's still flavor.
There's still flavor in there. There's still a whole lot of chocolatey goodness, a whole lot of sweetness within it, and something making sure that your cupcakes come out moist, delectable every single time, just as Dumi has taken out there.
Yes, Bali, and there we go. And you can actually start glazing those babies as soon as your frosting is ready.
Love that. And voila, oh so scrumptious and delicious. To get this recipe, to make these delicious cupcakes, just head over to afternoonexpress.co.za.
So, we've had classic fashion from Timby, classic cars, thanks Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic!
A classic range from Clover, timeless taste.
Made with love by Clover.
Even though the epic Olive Pride Chef's Tour has come to an end, we still have a few weekly winners to announce that have been supporting the journey and cooking along at home. So without any further ado, drum roll please. Woo! Now this week's lucky winner is Musiwa Muruhulu. Now you walk away with a brand new Weber gas braai. Congratulations. But this competition is not yet over. So if you would like to win yourself a brand new Weber braai or a grand prize kitchen makeover worth 150,000 Rand, then simply buy Olive Pride in-store. Collect the free recipe book with all the details on how to enter. You never know, it might just be your lucky day. Welcome back to The Loft. Dimo, is it thumbs up for this next one?
Absolutely.
We are ready to get decorating. Now we are back with our chocolate cake masterclass with Lindt Master Chocolatier Dimo Simatos. Now earlier, we learned how to make a chocolate cake, but for now, it is the fun part, decorating our chocolate cakes. Now remember that we are giving away 2 1,000 Rand hampers of Lindt's Excellence delicious range of chocolates. Just hop over to our Facebook page and tell us which flavor of Lindt Excellence 70% cocoa, 85% cocoa, orange, mint or sea salt you would love to try. Today, right now, it is just all about that mint topping.
Absolutely.
Now, Chef, as much as we are favouring the mint flavour of Lindt in this recipe, and we're going to be using it to decorate the top of our cake, what else do we need to make sure we get a Lindt cake decoration 100%?
Right, so we're going to be forming a ganache.
Okay.
Slightly different now, because instead of using fresh cream, we're using almond milk. And it's a simple ratio of equal quantities of your favourite Excellence range with almond milk. And we're pretty much going to heat it up, pour it over, and we're going to start stirring.
And you're going to start enjoying.
Yeah.
Speaking of starting to enjoy, Dumi's already gone all the way in. Tell us, how's the mint flavour?
I just thought it was a tasting. I didn't know it was meant to be using it in the recipe. But Balisa, the one thing I love is the smooth and delicate flavors of, you know, the Mint and Excellence range. It's so smooth, it's so delicate. And then, I mean, I love the Mint Intense. I love the Orange Intense as well. But you know that some people aren't as versed, you know, in the darker flavors like our 85%. So these are perfect because of the ingredients that are in there.
Absolutely. And you know what I also love about this, Chef? Let's get cooking. Right. We've just decided to crumble up our delicious Lindt Mint Intense flavors into our pots, and that's what's going to create the ganache. But what else do we need?
So we're going to decorate with a little bit of fresh raspberry and then chocolate shavings that we've prepared for you, as well as just to give it that $1 million feel, some gold leaf.
That gold touch to me.
Definitely. And the one thing you did mention, you know, we had a coffee tasting with Dimo. And I tasted all of those, and I'm sure some people feel they are probably more experienced in the chocolate field. So you could probably definitely try and pair it with some wine or some coffee, because that's where you get the sweet aftertaste thereafter.
Absolutely. And also love the fact that you're talking about the different variations and the different things that we can do, because as much as there is different things and ways to play with the Lindt Excellence range, we've mentioned the whole new different flavors, but I love the fact, Chad, that you're using almond milk.
Almond milk. It's just to open up the idea of, you know, working with flavour profiles which are found within Excellence.
And on that note, I mean, the Lindt has come up with a brand new flavour in this honey and almond flavour. Now, this is something very, very exciting. So if you would rather swap out your Mint Intense flavour for some of this honey and almond, good to go. But today, we are sticking to the mint.
All right, can I just pour that in for you?
Thank you.
All right.
So you've just poured some of that almond milk mixture into our Mint Intense dark chocolate that we've just broken up here.
Now you start stirring, and I think one of the first things you're going to notice is the aroma. Peppermint oil that's being almost heated and evaporated.
Definitely pepperminty.
So as you're stirring it, it first looks like it isn't going to come together.
Yeah.
Keep stirring. Just from the center, it'll basically, within 30 seconds or so, come to a nice, smooth, shiny ganache.
I see that.
Now, the thing for this is you need to have patience. A bit of stirring and time to cool down the ganache. So what I've done is I've pre-made some that's at the right consistency so we can finish off the decoration of the cake.
Okay.
Wow. But I mean, already, as you are saying, it is a labor of love. So 30 seconds is a little short. I believe you might want to be stirring for about a minute and a half, because I still feel some lumps at the bottom of our pan. But I love the fact, Chad, that you've made it easy for us. So out go the pans, in come the incredible squeezies.
All right, so first thing we'll need to do is snip.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so I have to kind of do that.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Dumi, how are you doing that side?
I'm looking at this ganache sauce, and I almost drank it, but it's like,
Right,
it
I'm gonna
just looks so
snip off
delicate and so delicious.
About a centimetre of the plastic.
About a centimetre. Perfect.
And all that's required is really just, you know, you can do your own thing if you want to drizzle all over, but I'll just show you my serving suggestion. We're just going to let it just kind of do its own thing. We'll tap it down, and then we'll allow give it a bit of a vibration. It'll just kind of do its own thing.
Okay, I'm going to go for a little bit of a swirly kind of, shape and design here on my cake, because I know that we're also going to be putting the chocolate shavings. You have definitely given us quite the task with this finished product. So I want mine to look as cute, as good, but I don't want to duplicate. I don't want to replicate.
Yeah,
I want to make my very own.
So you can also warm up the ganache slightly if you wanted just to pour over and give you a nice smooth finish. But in this case, we've just given you a bit of a challenge just to make sure it doesn't look anything like mine.
Beautiful. Well, as we are speaking about making things different, unique, and absolutely decadent, if you would love to try this incredible decorating recipe at home, all you have to do is visit our website at www.afternoonexpress.co.za. As we are playing Dimo here with the different toppings, we've got raspberry because we want to kind of mirror what you were doing on that side. But how else can we play with this? I mean, especially if maybe we were to go with the honey almond flavor of Lindt, or maybe if we were to go to the orange or sea salt.
Right. So toasted flaked almonds, if you were using the honey and almond, just toast them in the oven or in a pan and sprinkle them over the top. That's going to work out really well. It's always nice to have something that's going to contrast in texture or enhance the flavor of the chocolate.
Things that'll look different, but also something absolutely special. Now, as I am putting my finishing touches, let me just get some raspberry, some color onto that. And have you played with the gold leaf so far?
Not yet, so be very careful with the gold leaf. It can get quite sticky. So take a little piece.
I feel like a little kid in a candy store, Palisa. I'm sure you've noticed the silence now, because I feel like I'm making an art piece over here.
And then just touch it on and let it just kind of land where it will.
Beautiful.
Just adds a little bit of shine and it's that $1 million kind of feel to it.
Making it that much more special. Now, we did promise you opportunities to win, and boy, are we giving you so many goodies. Now, you could win one of 2 1,000 Rand hampers of Lindt's Excellence delicious range of chocolates. To enter, tell us which flavor of Lindt Excellence, 70% cocoa, 85% cocoa, orange, mint, or sea salt you would love to try. T's and C's can be found on afternoonexpress.co.za.
Lindt Excellence. Refined chocolate pleasure. Lindt Master Swiss Chocolatiers.
Now, Mzansi, you know what goes so well with some chocolate, some cake, and a whole lot of cookies, and that is a refreshing glass of cold milk. Speaking of which, Dumi, what did we create today?
We created a whole lot of chocolatey goodness today, Palisa. We started it off thanks to compliments of Mr. Chocolatier himself. We made some chocolate cakes. As you can see, they look absolutely gorgeous, Palisa. And then we followed it up with some choc chip cookies that you can see over here. We've got chocolate truffles, we've got cupcakes, we've got chocolate galore.
Well, that is all what Dimo is about. When you say Dimo, it's all about the chocolate, huh?
It's all about the chocolate, yeah.
So Dimo, what are you most looking forward to trying from the spread?
Well, I'm looking forward to Tumi's truffles. Some of the cupcakes too, they're looking good.
Speaking of which, please may you pass me a cupcake, because Dumi did promise a moist, succulent cupcake, but one that has chocolate chips on the inside, as well as my famous icing on the outside. Now, as I open this, I can already see the specks of that chocolate. Hey, Dumi,
yes,
that's what you promised me.
That's what we promised, Palace. And while you're digging into that cupcake, I'm going to dig into our cookies over here that also have those beautiful specks of chocolate. And, I mean, you can't have a choc chip cookie without dunking it in the milk, so...
Dunk it. Dunk it. Looking good. I mean, Chef Dimo, your sweet tooth must be on another level.
It is, I tell you. I don't know how I'd survive a day without chocolate.
Speaking of which, our social media question today says chocolate. We all love it, we know it, we enjoy it. But is there a strange, interesting way, and what ingredients out of the ordinary would you add to chocolate, or would you put chocolate on?
Well, look, I mean, chocolate's so versatile. You could put it into your sauce for putting it onto your steak. It's actually quite a classic, you know, mixing a bit of chili with your chocolate sauce and putting it into a meat, kind of almost gravy, over steak, chicken apparently.
Interesting.
I cannot imagine putting chicken within chocolate. I mean, help me make it make sense.
Apparently, back in the day with the Aztecs and the Mayans, they started off putting a lot of spice into their chocolate cocoa beans. And that's kind of, I guess, how it's progressed.
Balasa, I don't think that's the weirdest, because I know of places that have chocolate-covered crickets. and this is a thing that they eat. I don't know if these are edible crickets or these are just crickets that people keep chasing in their yards. But these are crickets that are covered in chocolate, and apparently it's a delicacy and people enjoy that.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before.
I mean, mind-blowing. I can't believe it. I think, Dumi, yours definitely does take the cake. Pun intended. I see what I did there. Because, Chef, you actually stole my answer. I love myself chilies, so I can only imagine a beautiful chili chocolate-infused dish. I don't know what kind of dish. Maybe I might actually incorporate some of that beef that you spoke about.
Yeah,
having some beef, chocolatey, chili, angazi, something like that.
Yeah, a chocolate sauce.
You can add a couple of pieces of high cocoa content into your meat sauce, into your gravy. It'll give it good shine, it'll give it body, and then it just brings out another kind of flavor profile to the meat sauce.
Beautiful. And speaking of, you know, it seems as if all of your food chocolatey knowledge is all the way up. So now, you know, I can't let you go without testing your full-on chocolate knowledge. So I want to find out from you, a bar of chocolates gave rise to what common kitchen appliance? It's simple, it's easy. I'm going to give you 3 options. Again, Mzansi, the question is, chocolates gave rise to what common kitchen appliance? A, microwave, B, kettle, or C, a toaster? I'm just going to dive into this cake.
I can't think of it. I can't say microwave because I'd like to think chocolate seizes in the microwave. Maybe a kettle? I don't know.
I'll go with microwave.
Well, it's obvious who the master chocolatier is because, indeed, it is a microwave. Congratulations, Dimo.
Yeah. Do I get a prize?
The prize is having my thumbs up, my salute as the chocolate master, indeed. That cake is moist, falls apart, melts in your mouth. Delicious, scrumptious. Dumi, what was your favorite? What was the highlight?
I'm loving these chocolate cookies. My mouth is full of chocolate. They're delicious, and this cupcake that we made is also so delicious. The decadence of the cupcake itself and those specks of chocolate in the center.
Voila. Well, we're giving it a chef's kiss. Thank you so much, Dimo, for coming through. And always, Dumi, thank you for bringing your mastery. Now, it is World Chocolate Day tomorrow, and if today's chocolatey goodness didn't give you enough ideas to celebrate, then we've got more chocolate-spiration coming your way this Thursday at 5:30 p.m. So tune in right here on S3. Until then, Mzansi, good night, stay safe, and happy eating. Goodbye. Say it with steaming hot breakfasts, soul food Sundays, and slow-cooked dinners that'll warm any winter. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.